There are moments in life when the fabric of reality seems to tear open just slightly, letting something from another time slip through into your present world. And right now, you're standing in one of those moments whether you realize it or not. A woman from your younger days, someone who once knew the version of you that existed before the weight of the world pressed down on your shoulders, has just reappeared, and more than that, she spoke your name. Not casually, not in passing. She said your name with intention, with a tremor in her voice that suggests she's been holding on her tongue for far longer than either of you might want to admit. This isn't a random firing of social media algorithms or the meaningless coincidence of crossing paths in a crowded world. This is something deeper, something that operates on frequencies most people will never tune into because they're too busy dismissing the whispers of destiny as mere chance. When someone from your past suddenly emerges after years of silence and speaks your name into existence again, they're not just remembering you, they're summoning you, pulling on an invisible cord that connects your soul to a moment you both left unfinished. Feel that for a second. Let it settle in your chest. Somewhere in the timeline of your younger self, there was a connection so powerful that even time couldn't completely erase it, and now it's calling out to be acknowledged, to be examined, to be understood for what it truly was and what it still might be. The universe doesn't bring people back into your orbit without reason. Every person who exits your life leaves an energetic signature, a mark on your soul's journey. And some of those marks are meant to be revisited when you've grown enough to understand their true meaning. She's been living her life just as you've been living yours, moving through relationships, jobs, cities, experiences that shaped her into someone different than the girl you once knew. And yet through all that evolution, through all those layers of new identity, your name remains somewhere in her consciousness, waiting for the right moment to resurface. That moment is now. Something shifted in her universe. Some door opened or closed. Some truth became unavoidable, and suddenly you weren't just a memory anymore. You became relevant again, necessary even, like a puzzle piece she realized was still missing from the picture of her life. Pay attention to how you felt the moment you heard she mentioned you. Did your heart skip? Did a warmth spread through your body? Did you feel that strange mixture of excitement and fear that only comes when we're standing at the edge of something that could change everything? That feeling is your soul recognizing what your mind hasn't fully processed yet. This woman carries unfinished business, unspoken words, unexpressed feelings that have been hibernating in the space between you. And now they're waking up, demanding to be brought into the light. The question you need to ask yourself isn't why she came back, but rather, what part of you has been waiting for her return all along? Let's talk about something most people misunderstand completely: the nature of certain connections, and why they refuse to die even when we bury them beneath years of distance and deliberate forgetting. The woman who just said your name, the one who suddenly reappeared in your reality, she never actually left in the way you convince yourself she did. Oh, the physical separation happened. Absolutely. You went your separate ways, built different lives, loved other people, created new versions of yourselves that barely resembled who you were when you were together. But the energetic bond, that invisible thread that tied your souls together during those formative years, that never severed completely. It frayed, yes. It stretched thin enough that you could almost pretend it wasn't there anymore. But it held. It always held. And she felt it too, even if she never said anything. Even if she went years without reaching out or checking in or letting you know that you still occupied space in her thoughts. Some loves are like seeds planted in soil so deep that no amount of winter can kill them. They just wait dormant patient, knowing that when the conditions align perfectly, they'll push through the surface again with a force that surprises everyone, especially the gardener who thought they'd planted something else entirely. What you shared with her wasn't superficial or easily replaced, and deep down, you know this. It was the kind of connection that imprints itself on your cellular memory, the kind that sets a baseline for every relationship that comes after it. Every woman you've been with since her has been unconsciously compared to what you felt in her presence, hasn't she? Even if you didn't realize you were doing it. Even if you genuinely believed you'd moved on, there was always this quiet measuring happening beneath the surface, the subtle recognition that something about what you had with her was different, was special, was complete in a way that nothing else has quite matched since. She's been carrying the same weight, the same quiet wondering, the same unresolved feelings that bubble up at 3 a.m. or when a certain song plays. or when a light hits a stranger's face in just the right way and suddenly it's your face she's seeing. That's why she said your name now, after all this time. Something cracked open inside her world. Maybe a relationship ended. Maybe she reached a milestone age that made her reflect on paths not taken. Maybe she had a dream so vivid and real that she woke up knowing she couldn't ignore the pull anymore. And in that crack, you were there, waiting like you'd never left at all. The love you shared didn't die. It transformed. It became this living thing that exists in the realm between past and present, between what was and what could still be. It's been feeding off both your energies, growing stronger every time either you wondered, what if? Every time you almost reached out but stopped yourself. Every time her name crossed your mind and you dismissed it as nostalgia. But it's not nostalgia. It's recognition. Your souls recognize each other across time and space. And now that recognition is demanding to be acknowledged in the physical realm once again. Here's what you need to understand about why she's resurfacing now, and why your name left her lips with such weight. She's been carrying something, holding on to words and truths and confessions that have been pressing against her chest for so long that she can barely breathe under their weight anymore. For years, she's lived with unspoken sentences trapped in her throat, with feelings she convinced herself were better left buried, with a version of the truth that she thought would be easier to carry in silence than to release into a world where it might change everything. But silence has its limits, and she's reached hers. When she mentioned you, when she said your name to whoever would listen, she was testing the waters, gauging whether it's finally safe to say what's been burning inside her all this time. Think about what kind of revelation makes someone reach back across years of separation. It's not something small. It's not casual reminiscence or idle curiosity about what you're up to these days. No, what she's holding is significant, life-altering, the kind of truth that once spoken can never be unspoken. Maybe it's a confession of love that she was too young or too scared to express when you were together. Maybe an apology for how things ended, for words said in anger or pride that she's regretted every day since. Maybe it's a revelation about how deeply you affected her life trajectory, how you set a standard or opened her eyes or changed her in ways she didn't fully comprehend until years of living showed her just how rare what you had actually was. Or maybe, and this is the one that should make your soul tremble with anticipation, maybe it's an acknowledgement that she made a mistake, that she let you go when she should have held on tighter, that she spent all these years comparing every man to you and finding them all lacking in some indefinable but crucial way. Whatever it is, it's heavy enough that she couldn't keep carrying it alone anymore. It's powerful enough that despite all the time and distance and logical reasons to leave the past buried, she felt compelled to speak your name back into existence, to set in motion whatever comes next. She's been rehearsing conversations in her mind, imagining scenarios where you reconnect, playing out different versions of how the truth might land when she finally releases it. She's terrified and exhilarated in equal measure, because opening this door means being vulnerable in a way she hasn't allowed herself to be since you, means risking rejection or indifference or possibility, that you've moved so far beyond who you were together that there's no bridge back. But she's doing it anyway because the alternative, spending the rest of her life wondering what might have happened if she'd just been brave enough to reach out, has become more unbearable than any potential outcome of actually making contact. She needs you to know something, and that need has become urgent, undeniable, impossible to ignore any longer. The universe is conspiring to create space for this revelation, aligning circumstances and removing obstacles, and pushing you both toward a conversation that's been waiting in the wings for far too long. And now we arrive at the moment where everything narrows down to a single point of decision, where all the energy and emotion and cosmic orchestration converges into one simple question that's anything but simple. What are you going to do with this information? The universe has placed a crossroads directly in your path, and unlike the vague possibilities and maybes that fill most of our days, this one is stark and clear and demanding a response. A woman from your past, someone who once knew you in ways that few people ever have, has said your name and set ripples moving through reality that will reach you whether you're ready or not. You can feel it already, can't you? That subtle shift in the atmosphere around you, that sense that something important is approaching, and you need to decide who you're going to be when it arrives. This isn't about going backward, about trying to resurrect something dead, or recreate a moment that belonged to younger versions of yourselves who no longer exist. No, this is about understanding that some connections are meant to be revisited precisely because we're different now, because we've grown and learned and accumulated enough life experience to finally handle what we couldn't back then. Her reappearance is a test of your evolution, a mirror held up to show you how far you've actually come, and whether you've developed the courage and wisdom and emotional capacity to face what you once left unresolved. Every choice comes with consequences, and both options stretching before you right now carry their own weight. You could ignore this. You could decide that the past is the past, and that reopening old chapters is more risk than you're willing to take. You could protect yourself from potential pain or disappointment or the messy complication of rekindling something with a woman who might not fit into the neat compartment of your current life. That's valid. That's safe. That's what most people would choose because most people are more committed to comfort than they are to truth. But there's another path, one that requires more courage but offers infinitely more possibility. You could lean into this, could acknowledge that a return means something, could be brave enough to find out what you've been holding back, and what might unfold if you give this connection permission to exist in the present instead of just haunting your memories. Think about regret for a moment, about the specific kind of pain that comes from always wondering what might have been if you'd just been brave enough to find out. Think about lying on your deathbed someday and looking back at this exact moment and asking yourself whether you made the choice that honored your soul's deepest knowing, or whether you made the choice that felt safe in the moment, but left you hungry for something you never allowed yourself to pursue. She's extending an invisible hand across time and space, offering you a chance to complete something, to understand something, to possibly build something new on a foundation of what you once shared. The question isn't whether she's worth the risk. The question is whether you're ready to discover what this moment is trying to teach you about yourself and about love and about the mysterious ways the universe works when we're paying attention. But here's what you need to know before you make any decision, before you reach out or pull back or choose which path to walk. This moment didn't come out of nowhere. The universe has been preparing you for this encounter, dropping signs and synchronicities and subtle messages that you've probably been dismissing as random or meaningless or just your imagination playing tricks on you. Think back over the past few weeks, the past few months even. Haven't there been moments when she crossed your mind for no apparent reason? Haven't you had dreams that felt too vivid, too real, where you were back in that time with her, and you woke up with your heart racing and her name on your lips? Haven't there been songs that suddenly appeared in your playlist or on the radio, songs that you associate with her, with that period of your life, playing at moments when you needed to be reminded of something you've forgotten? The universe speaks in whispers before it shouts, and it's been whispering to you. Try and prepare your heart and your mind for what's coming. Those weren't random thoughts or meaningless coincidences. They were breadcrumbs leading you to this exact moment, when she would say your name and make the invisible visible, make the potential actual. Pay attention to what you felt in the days leading up to finding out she mentioned you. Was there a restlessness in your spirit, an unexplained anticipation, like you were waiting for something without knowing what? Did you find yourself thinking about second chances or past loves or roads not taken more than usual? That was your intuition picking up on the energetic shift before your conscious mind could process it, preparing you to receive what was coming. And here's the most important part, the piece that will tell you everything you need to know about what to do next. How you feel right now, in this very moment, as you sit with the knowledge that she's thinking about you, talking about you, potentially wanting to reconnect with you. Strip away all the logical arguments and practical considerations and fears about what others might think or what could go wrong. Underneath all of that noise, in the quiet center of your being, what does your soul know to be true? Because your soul has been waiting for this. Your soul recognized her energy the moment it touched your field again. Your soul knows whether this is a chapter that needs to be reopened or a ghost that needs to be laid to rest. And if you get very still and listen carefully, you'll hear the answer rising up from that deep place where truth lives. The signs have been pointing toward this convergence, this collision of past and present, and now you're standing in the center with the power to determine what happens next. But before you can do that, before you can choose wisely and authentically, you need to understand one final thing, one crucial piece of information that changes everything about what this moment actually means, and that revelation is waiting for you just around the corner, hidden in plain sight. ready to be unveiled when you're ready to see what's always been there. There's one more layer to this story, one more truth about what her reappearance actually signals and what the universe is trying to show you through her return. But that answer, that final piece of the puzzle that will make everything else make sense, that's a journey for another moment, when you're ready to see just how deep this connection really goes and what it means for the future you thought you had planned.